Hey guys, Matt Donald here. You know the drill by now. You know how this works. This is the part of the show where I advertise one of my big products, and you know what it is this time. That's right, it's a special Paleo Bites themed hemorrhoid cream. Yeah! Get yours today! Oh yeah, also I got a Patreon at patreon.com/Matthew Donald. There you can find bonus content for my two shows, The Ritwit and Paleo Bites. For the bonus episodes of Paleo Bites, we discuss pop culture featuring prehistoric animals. And this month, we're talking about Jurassic Park Operation Genesis, the classic, cool as hell business strategy game from 2003, where you could build the Jurassic Park of your dreams. It's good stuff. Also, you could build turrets to shoot your dinosaurs, and you could shoot them from helicopters, and you could sick dinosaurs onto guests. It's great stuff. I loved it when I was 12. It was the coolest thing ever at the time. Link is in the description where you can sign up to the Patreon. Thank you for your support and have a lovely day. And be sure to get your special Paleo Bites themed hemorrhoid cream. I have such a bad sense of humor.
Roar, growl, snarl, bellow.
Welcome to Paleo Bites, the podcast that puts the ass in Jurassic. My name is Matthew Donald, and each week I and a rotating series of guest co-hosts talk about and rate a genus of prehistoric animal, be it dinosaur, mammal, arthropod, and so on. This week I'm joined by my good friend from New Zealand once again. It's Ben O'Regan. How are you?
Oh, I'm good, thanks, and hello, everyone.
Hello.
I always
Hello.
seem to
Say hi
bungle
to
the
the
introduction.
world. The whole world is listening to this. Yeah, no, really.
One day,
One day, eventually, I'll take over the world. Oh, wait, no, don't pretend.
when
I
you
didn't say
invent
that.
some kind of super science and you turn everyone into velociraptors.
Yeah, that's my plan. Yes. Okay. Okay. So, that's the dinosaur-related question I'll ask you this week to start off the episode. If you could use a super science to turn everyone into a certain type of dinosaur, which one would it be? And don't do Velociraptor because you already did that one.
Some kind of dromaeosaur, probably something bigger than the real velociraptor, since the real one was the size of a bloomin' poodle.
Right. Maybe like a Dakota Raptor or something. Yeah.
Or Deinonychus, if I'm
Deinonychus,
pronouncing that right.
That's a bit bigger. Yeah. Yeah, that's pretty good. Let's see. The Utah Raptor was the biggest, but it was kind of slow. It was stockier. So.
Or it wouldn't
I
need
guess
to
what's
be
your-
fast, because even if they don't hunt the way popular cultures said that are, fast pack hunters, I'm still not fully up to date there, but something that big jumping on you with those big claws, even if they're not for slashing but for hooking into you, you're dead.
Yeah, basically, you're dead. Yeah, I don't think they're pack hunters anymore because apparently I've heard research that the young and the adults hunt different things. Somehow they have evidence that they've hunted different things. Well, if they were in a pack, they would be hunting the same things.
I forget the term for it, but where their ecological niche changes as they grow, I think the Speculative Dinosaur Project did that with one of those the uranifawns, whatever they call them, like basically the toothed hawks, like when they're smaller, they fill one role, when they're older, another.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, God, I love the Speculative Dinosaur Project. It's so good. Thank you for that list, that Google Drive thing you sent me today that has all these different things.
Yeah, it's in there as a full PDF, the old spec.
Yeah, that's cool. I need to look that up. It's cool to look at it there rather than at like the Speculative Evolution wiki or something.
Yeah, I got it off some spec Discord that I'm on.
Oh, nice. Spec Discord. That's cool. There's a Discord for everything.
Yeah, it's run by
probably
the guy and friends of that one who did I forget what it's called, Serene or whatever, that one I've shown you where it's a terraform world settled by canaries.
Yes, that one. Yes, that's cool.
I love that one, like how it has land-dwelling descendant of guppies that basically give rise to like three-legged mammal knockoffs.
Right.
The tribotheres.
That's kind of funny. Have you heard of the new Netflix show Alien Worlds?
I haven't seen it though.
It's pretty good. Just know getting into it, it's about 30% actual aliens, 70% like on Earth explaining the science of astrobiology and biological concepts that support it. So it's not like Alien Planet where it's like entirely on this alien world.
So it's a bit more like the future as well, but more animals in it.
Yeah, it's more because it's like they keep cutting back to humans and other like concepts in nature that can justify their their sort of things they have for these other creatures, and it's pretty cool. It's 4 different planets, and all with different sort of setups. Like one's orbiting a red dwarf, one has 2 suns, one has really high gravity, and then the final one is actually a civilization. It's an intelligent one, so that's pretty cool.
That's cool. So it's sort of like a combination of Alien Planet, I think it was called, that one with the probes exploring Darwin 4, or was it Darwin 3? And that other one they did where they had planets with the sky whales and those beaver-like things.
Oh yeah, the Extraterrestrial by National Geographic. Yeah, it's more of that. It's kind of cool though. What they do a lot of different concepts with the same one, because they both have a planet that orbits a red dwarf, and thus one side is always daytime, the other side is always night. But they do something different with it, and that they have creatures that inhabit both sides, and different ones on both sides, and it's different ecosystems. Like,
that's a good idea.
Rather than just
having them in the temperate band, that which is tidally locked, would be boring.
Yeah, exactly. They have instead of having just one place that's on the twilight part of the planet, it's on some on day, some on night. Yeah, so it's pretty cool. Yeah, anyway, so speaking of none of that, we're talking about another prehistoric animal. This was your suggestion. We're talking about the Giant Moa, or its genus name is Dinornis.
Yeah, the largest of New Zealand's moa species.
Right, exactly. The genus name means terrible bird, but I'm going to name this episode Dinornis the Giant Moa because that's its actual, like, sort of common name. So, type is a paleognathid, a group of large flightless birds also known as the ratites, that includes the modern-day ostrich, emu, rhea, and cassowary.
I don't think it includes the kiwi, though, does it?
No, it doesn't. I think the kiwi is more related to, like...
The tinomos, or whatever you pronounce it.
Kiwi's related to.
Those ones with the claws that live in South America, the hoatzins and the tinomos or whatever?
Yeah, something like that, yeah. Cool. Size 7 to 12 feet / 2.2 to 3.6 meters tall. 510 to 530 pounds, or 230 to 240 kilograms. It was an herbivore, thank God.
Big.
Although I think the cassowary is technically a herbivore, but that doesn't stop it from being so dangerous. So.
Yeah, exactly. Because what have they got? Those big ass spears on them. It's like being chased by a drop kicking Dilophosaurus.
Yeah, they've got muscular feet and giant foot claws. Like, they're basically modern day velociraptors. So,
or oviraptors, maybe, because of the beak, and then they've got that crest on the head. So they're indirectly like how they're depicted in Dino Crisis 2, where the oviraptors, minus the spit, they would drop kick you all the damn time.
That's true. Dino Crisis. I need to play those games. They sound fun. Time.
First you are. Avoid the third.
Yes, I remember you telling me to avoid the first two, yes. Anyways, time. Late Pleistocene to late Holocene. 1 million to 600 years ago. Yes, 600. This is the most recent extinction of an animal on this show yet. How close can we get to the present? Hopefully not much closer, as then it just gets depressing.
They think some might have lingered on to about 1500s or so, but it's really hard to say, because the bulk of the species went extinct within 100 years of the early mouldy appearing, because they just had no defense against people with spears, basically.
Yeah, they were basically one of those creatures that becomes an evolutionary dead end. Like, when you're on an island and you have no predators, and you have no competition, you just evolve into something that perfectly suits the environment, and then if there's any change to that environment, you're dead. So.
And even if you do have predators, birds are more vulnerable because they lay big, vulnerable eggs, and they have to go away from the nest.
Exactly.
And then it's like, at the end of the day, humans are just as useless as we are without tools, because we don't have bugger all strength compared to our primate relatives and stuff.
Yes.
When you get a spear or a bow, or even the hand axe used by some of our earlier relatives in between the Australopithecine and modern man, most animals just go down, unfortunately.
Yeah, it's true. And the point with their eggs is interesting. I actually have a point here about why that could have been one of the reasons why it didn't do so well, too. But I'll get to that.
So I think that's why the elephant bird, their cousins in Madagascar, went extinct, because the early Malagasy, whatever you call the locals.
Yeah, the Malagasy or Gazy or something, yeah.
Yeah, I'm just trying not to butcher the pronunciation.
Of course, I don't know how it's pronounced either. So.
But there's a lot of evidence that suggests they use the eggs as water containers and stuff.
Right. So, location, New Zealand, described in 1843, but then again, modern humans lived with them for a bit and were the direct cause of their extinction, so it's kind of fuzzy what described actually means. Pop culture appearances, BBC's Monsters We Met, Discovery Channel's Planet Evolution, and Discovery Channel's What Killed the Mega Beasts. I'm sure there are others, but those are the three I found on dinopedia.org.
And if you ever come to New Zealand as a tourist and go to Te Papa, or if you look up the image for it on the internet, because it does appear, part of the museum in Wellington has this thing of, I think it's a Dinornis or Dinornis or a similar one, with
it could be
the
Dinornis,
giant
I don't
hast
know.
eagle above it, and they're life-sized.
Oh,
So
that's
you've got
cool.
basically predator and prey on display.
Nice, that's cool. That's really cool. I like some museums, but I recently found out that my boy Sign Raptor, there is a skeleton of it on display in a museum in Canada. I forgot which one, but I'm going to find out because I want to see a Sign Raptor skeleton on display. And the only other one I know of is in China, like in the middle of China. And I don't want to have to go to China, all the way to China, to see a Sign Raptor skeleton.
Fair enough, like even if you ignore what kind of regime it is, that's a long way to go.
It's a long way to go, and also you need to have a special visa, I think, with the government.
Exactly.
So, yeah, I'd rather go see it in the one in Canada.
Take photos if you do.
Not all prehistoric life was prehistoric. Some truly awe-inspiring beasts live with us until just before the modern times. Probably the biggest example of this is the woolly mammoth, which lived past the construction of the pyramids of Giza, which is pretty remarkable.
Yeah, Wrangel Island.
Exactly. Another good example, though, and one that lived till far later, was Dinornis, or the Giant Moa. Whatever. Circumvent the name of it and just call it Giant Moa.
And there are two species, predictably one from the North Island and one from the South. The North Island species is Dinornis novazelandiae, and the South Island species
exactly.
is
The other
Dinornis
one
robustus.
Yeah, exactly. I bring this up here because it's funny that the first species name literally means of New Zealand, since nova or novus in Latin means new, which makes me wish that we renamed everything with new at the start of it to Nova instead because it sounds so much cooler. Nova Zealand, Nova York, Nova Jersey, Nova England, Nova Caledonia.
Nova Scotia.
I guess that one is true. Okay. That's already one.
And
but, like, Nova Caledonia, that one just sounds cool.
Constantinople, now modern-day Istanbul, used to be Nova Roma, because it was, New Rome,
Nova
because
Roma?
that's what it was founded as.
Oh, that's cool. That's cool. I'd live in these places. Like, I'd live in Nova York or Nova Mexico. Oh, man. Yeah, like you said, there's two species, and as well as that, there's such a size difference between the male and the female that we thought there were more species. Like, the females are... some of the subspecies have females up to twice as tall as the males, which is pretty crazy. Yeah, like...
And not all species were very big. Like, if we don't count Dinornis, I'm a little out of date for some of my info because I haven't had a book on moas in years, and I haven't been to the museum in a while, but the most common species, I forget the name of it, would have been probably, like, turkey-sized, maybe sheep-sized.
Right. Yeah,
Which
like the
might
normal
be...
moas rather than the giant ones.
And if there's any basis to the old cryptic sightings of big birds in our forests, like if any of them survived, it'll be the small species. But personally,
as cool
I'm
as it would
skeptical as
be
heck about that.
Yeah, like as cool as it would be to have the big ones, that's just not feasible. Yeah.
I mean,
Man,
they are a very
some
good
of those-
candidate for cloning, though, because we can get very intact DNA from mummified remains from a swamp in the South Island.
Exactly. They died so recently too. But Dinornis also had potentially the biggest eggs of all time, bigger than any dinosaurs, in fact.
As far as we know, anyway.
Wikipedia. Yeah, according to Wikipedia, they were as large as a rugby ball, but since I'm a dumb American, I don't know squat about rugby, so I'm assuming that's pretty big.
Rugby ball's pretty big. Think like an oval, but it's on its side, because so you can hold it between both sides of the hand. Like, if you can see in the webcam, you hold it like this, not like this.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
I gotta say, I'd think that some of the sauropods probably would have had bigger eggs, but that's...
Apparently not. Like, no, they had pretty small eggs. I mean, they were still big eggs, but, like, for their size, they were... of the adults, they were relatively much smaller. It's not like the poor kiwi, which has an egg the third the size of its whole body.
Yeah, that basically takes up the female's entire body cavity when she's carrying it.
Yeah,
it's nuts.
it's crazy. By that logic, the eggs of a long neck should be like the size of a small car, but they're not. So.
I think an egg that big would collapse under gravity for all I know.
Well, the thing about collapsing is that despite the huge size of these eggs of the giant moa, the shells were actually very thin, only about 0.04 inches or 1 millimeter thick, meaning they were quite fragile. So
Which probably meant there was a parent
sad.
always guarding them. Granted, we don't really know anything about their behavior.
Yeah, exactly. This could have played a part in their demise. Unlike all the other subjects of this show so far, the extinction of Dinornis can be attributed directly to modern human activity. Even though it was big, it had little other defenses against predators. It wasn't very fast, very fierce, or very adaptable to changes in its environment. So when Polynesian and Maori settlers first arrived on the island, they hunted it down for food, cut down its forest for farmland, and maybe even got some of its eggs if they found any. Or if they didn't they could fight off the mother guarding them. So.
They probably did have some kind of flight or flight response and the ability to fight back to an extent. Like, they probably could have a heck of a kick if the Cassowary is anything to go by. But given that their main predator, in fact their only predator, would have been the Hast Eagle, they probably would have only run from people, which is useless when you've got people chasing you with spears.
Exactly, the spears too. Like, if I'm assuming if a moa got cornered, it could deal a pretty heavy kick, like a pretty devastating kick. But if you just need to not get that close, just throw a spear at it. So.
And on the off chance that I'm wrong, in case Māori didn't use spears, any other weapon they would have had that would have filled the same role.
Yeah, some sort of ranged weapon, like something. Yeah, I don't know, like a sling or something. I don't know.
I'd actually have to look that bit up. I'm a little bit culturally ignorant, would probably be the nice way to put it, with some of the local Māori stuff, but that's just because resources for some things are so damn hard to find.
Right, exactly, and it is difficult. But the exact date of when the last giant moa died is unknown, but we do know that by 1500 AD they were all gone. In fact, by the time European settlers reached the island, they had been extinct for 300 years. So, at least European colonialism wasn't to blame for this particular problem. That's
some
one
of
blemish
the
they could
European
scratch off their record.
explorers apparently claim to have seen big birds from the coast on the ships, but I'm pretty sure that's just your typical, explorer makes up some kind of story thing to get attention.
Yeah, exactly. Or maybe it was, I don't know, maybe it might have been, they could have just been exaggerating and it was just a kiwi or something, I don't know.
Or it could have been I think it's the Takahe, I think it's the name of it. It's a rare bird of ours, I've got the name correct, that was believed to be extinct and then they found it again in the 1930s. Yeah, it says here, first encountered by Europeans in 1847, believed extinct in 1898, and then they were dramatically rediscovered living in an isolated South Island Valley in 1948.
Oh, wow. Just after the war.
And there's only 418 of them.
Oh, so there's still some left. Well, that's cool. I can't cover it on paleobites then.
Their population goes up by 10% a year, so sorry for the track.
No, it's okay. That's good. No, it's cool. I'm glad that we're saving that species. That's good. All right, so we're now at everyone's favorite part of the show. Maybe, I don't know. We're at the ML 1 out of 65 million. So...
Well, native bias on my end, so 65 million.
Just greater provincialism or something.
Yeah, whatever TV Tropes calls it.
Yeah, that's what it's called. It's the reason why Liopleurodon Walking with Dinosaurs was so big, I think, because it was a British fossil.
Still blooming cool, even if that's inaccurate.
Yeah, I know it is. It's still cool, Dan, though.
I don't watch Walking with Dinosaurs for the accuracy anymore. I watch it because it's good, and it's aged well.
Yeah, exactly. I've been going through the Walking With series because it's on Curiosity Stream, so I've been watching that.
I've got the box set.
I'm all about digital media now.
I'm switching to digital with certain things, but you can't beat sitting down for DVD, in my opinion.
That's true. Although for some of them, it does censor, like the American release of certain scenes changes compared to the British version, and as someone who is used to the American DVDs, I'm like, when seeing the British version, I'm like, that's a bit weird, but I don't know, I'm used to it this way, so.
I'm imagining it's probably the other way around these days. Less censorship with American stuff, more censorship on the British stuff if BBC's anything to go by.
Well, it's like that scene in there's a scene in Walking with Beasts when it shows the Australopithecus mating, and in the American version, it's censored by a huge blur because it looks so similar to how humans do it. But in the original British version, it's not blurred at all. I mean, they're still behind tall grass, so you don't really see anything, but still.
But it's a bit like seeing the Apidium in the Eocene episode in the trees just before the gas pocket goes off, I'm guessing.
Right, exactly. Yeah, exactly.
I just
so
realised that
Dinornis.
could have been interpreted so badly, gas pocket.
Yeah.
Like the mating and then the male farts.
That's very true, isn't it?
Sorry, I've got a juvenile mind when it comes to that.
Okay. That's okay.
Yeah. Sorry, listeners.
We all do. My dad loves that kind of stuff. So I'm gonna rate Dinornis like, I don't know, maybe like 45 million. I think it's pretty cool, and the fact that it's so recent is pretty cool, but shame what happened to it.
It is a shame.
All right, well, that's it for this week. If you want to get a hold of the show, you can contact me at mattd@matthewdonandcreator.com. You can find me on social media at MatthewDonCreator on Facebook, at MatthewDon64 on Twitter, and MatthewDon64 on Instagram. I have a book series on Amazon, Megazoic, available for print and Kindle. It's a dinosaur sci-fi. It's pretty good stuff. I think it's good.
Read it.
Ben here thinks it's pretty good. Yes, please. I need money. I want to be big. I want to get my machine that'll turn everyone into velociraptors. That's my ultimate goal.
If you know people that are in cinema, try and get it to their attention so that you can get a movie deal.
Yeah, I would love a movie deal. How hard could it be? All right. So
pretty easy if it's animated,
anyways,
believe it or not.
That's true. It's just, whether it gets greenlit is the problem.
You could get Netflix to do it. They're trying to compete with Disney on the animation front now.
I have considered, actually it might be a really good show, like with each chapter or each couple chapters being an episode and each book being a season or something, but anyways, all right, well, that's it for this week. As I say at the end of every episode of Paleo Bites, what kind of call would this thing make? Like,
yeah, I don't know what kind of call it would make. Probably something similar to an emu but amplified.
I don't know what it does.